Hello everyone and welcome back to English Flow channel. Do you want to speak English more naturally every day? Do you want to feel more confident in the morning, at work, at the store, with friends, and at home? If your answer is yes, then this lesson is for you. Today we are going to practice 400 daily English sentences together. This is a shadowing lesson, which means you listen carefully and repeat after me. These are natural English sentences that people use in real life all the time. I have organized them into 3 parts for different levels. Part 1 has 130 easy sentences for beginners, around A1 to A2 level. Part 2 has 130 everyday sentences for intermediate learners, around B1 to B2 level. Part 3 has 140 more advanced sentences for higher level learners, around C1 to C2 level. Here is why this kind of lesson is so powerful. When you repeat real sentences, your mouth learns the movements, your ears learn the rhythm, your brain starts to think faster in English, and your confidence grows sentence by sentence. Please do not skip the easy part just because you want the advanced part. Start from the beginning and build step by step. That is how real fluency grows. So find a quiet place, relax your shoulders, focus on my voice, and repeat clearly after me. If you can, say each sentence 2 times. Also, before we begin, tell me in the comments what kind of lesson you want next. Do you want more daily sentences, more phrasal verbs, more shadowing, more English for work, or more English for travel? I always read your suggestions. Alright, let's begin with Part 1. Part 1. Beginner level, 130 easy daily life sentences. These are simple sentences for everyday situations. Listen first, then repeat after me. Morning routine. Good morning. I wake up early. I open my eyes. I stretch my arms. I get out of bed. I make my bed. I walk to the bathroom. I turn on the light. I look in the mirror. I wash my face and I dry my face. I brush my teeth. I brush my hair. I put on my clothes. I get dressed slowly. I go to the kitchen. I make some tea. I pour some water. I eat breakfast. I drink coffee. I eat some fruit. I feel awake now. I wash the dishes. I clean the table. I pack my bag. I check my things. I take my keys. I open the door. I leave the house. I lock the door. I start my day, getting around. I walk down the street. I go to the bus stop. I wait for the bus. The bus is coming. The bus is full. I get on the bus. I tap my card. I look for a seat. I sit by the window. I look outside. I see many cars. I see many people. The city is busy. The bus is moving. I hold my bag. I check the time. I stand up. I get off the bus. I walk to work. I arrive early. I feel ready. At work, I say hello. I smile at everyone. I sit at my desk. I turn on my computer. I open my emails. I read my messages. I write a reply. I type carefully. I check my schedule. I start my work. I answer a question. I talk to my coworker. He is very nice. She is very helpful. We work together. I take notes. I drink some water. I take a short break. I stand up again. I go back to work. I finish one task. I start another task. I stay focused. Lunchtime. It is lunchtime. I am hungry now. I wash my hands. I eat my lunch. I eat some rice. I eat some chicken. I drink some juice. The food is good. I eat slowly. I feel relaxed. I talk with a friend. We laugh together. Lunch is over. I go back inside. Afternoon. I continue working. I answer more emails. I make a phone call. I listen carefully. I write things down. I finish my work. The day feels long. Now the day feels fast. It is almost 5. I save my files. I shut down my computer. I pack my things. I say goodbye. I leave the office. At home. I get home safely. I open the door. I am home now. I put down my bag. I take off my shoes. I change my clothes. I sit on the sofa. I rest for a while. I watch a video. I check my phone. My friend sends a message. I write back. I feel hungry again. I go to the kitchen. I make dinner. I cook some rice. I cook some vegetables. I add some sauce. Dinner smells good. I eat dinner. I drink some water. I wash the dishes. I clean the kitchen. I feel tired now. Night routine. I take a shower. I put on pajamas. I brush my teeth again. I wash my face again. I turn off the TV. I go to my room. I set my alarm. I lie in bed. I close my eyes. I think about my day. I feel sleepy. Good night. Sleep well. Very good. You have just completed part 1. These easy sentences are very important because they build your foundation. Now let's continue with part 2. Part 2, intermediate level, 130 everyday sentences. These sentences are longer and more natural. They will help you sound smoother in daily conversations. Listen and repeat after me. Morning routine. I usually wake up before my alarm rings. I like to stay in bed for a minute before getting up. I stretch my body to feel more awake. I head to the bathroom and wash my face. I brush my teeth while thinking about the day ahead. I take a quick shower before getting dressed. I choose something comfortable to wear. I look outside to see what the weather is like. I go to the kitchen and make breakfast. I usually have eggs, toast, and coffee. Sometimes I listen to music while I eat. I check my messages during breakfast. I like calm mornings before the day gets busy. After breakfast, I wash my plate and cup. I make sure I have everything in my bag. I grab my keys and head out. Commuting. I walk to the train station near my apartment. It only takes about 7 minutes to get there. The streets are already busy with people going to work. I buy a ticket from the machine. I wait on the platform for the train to arrive. Sometimes the train is crowded in the morning. If I cannot find a seat, I stand near the door. I usually listen to a podcast during the ride. The ride gives me time to wake up properly. I get off at the 3rd stop and walk to my office. On the way, I sometimes stop for coffee. The barista already knows my order. At work, I arrive at work a little before 9. I greet my coworkers and sit at my desk. The first thing I do is check my inbox. I reply to urgent emails before anything else. Then I make a list of my main tasks. It helps me stay organized during the day. Some mornings are calm, but others are very busy. I often have meetings with my team. During meetings, I try to listen carefully and contribute. I like sharing ideas when I feel prepared. If I do not understand something, I ask questions. I would rather ask than stay confused. Around mid-morning, I usually need a short break. I get up, stretch, and refill my water bottle. Small breaks help me focus better. Lunch and social life. When lunchtime comes, I am always ready to eat. Sometimes I bring lunch from home. Other times I go out with coworkers. We usually choose a place nearby. I like meals that are simple but filling. Lunch is also a good time to relax and talk. We often talk about weekend plans or funny office moments. I enjoy these small conversations. They make the day feel lighter. After lunch, I usually feel more relaxed. But sometimes I feel a little sleepy too. Afternoon work. In the afternoon, I try to finish important tasks. I often work on reports, emails, or presentations. If something is difficult, I break it into smaller steps. That makes the work feel easier. I try not to leave everything until the last minute. It feels good when I finish things on time. Before leaving, I check what I need to do tomorrow. That helps me start the next day with less stress. Evening routine. When work is over, I head home. Sometimes I take the bus and sometimes I walk. If the weather is nice, I prefer to walk. It helps me clear my mind after a long day. On the way home, I may stop at the store. I usually buy things I need for dinner or breakfast. At home, I change into comfortable clothes right away. That is one of the best parts of the day. Then I decide what to eat. I do not always have the energy to cook something big, so I often make something quick and easy. While dinner is cooking, I clean a little or listen to music. After I eat, I wash the dishes and wipe the counter. I like the kitchen to feel clean before bedtime, friends and free time. In the evening, I sometimes text my friends. If someone is free, we may meet for coffee. Other times, I stay home and rest. I enjoy quiet evenings when I feel tired. I might watch a show or read a little. Sometimes I call a family member just to check in. Even a short call can make me feel better. If I had a stressful day, I try to slow down at night. Rest is important too. Night routine. Before bed, I usually brush my teeth and wash my face. I change into pajamas and get my room ready for sleep. I try not to stay on my phone for too long. When I do, I always end up sleeping later. So I try to turn everything off at a reasonable time. Sometimes I read a few pages of a book. Reading helps me feel calmer. Then I set my alarm and lie down. I think about what I did well today. I also think about what I want to do tomorrow. Then I close my eyes and let my body rest. Excellent. You have now completed part 2. Your English is becoming more flexible, more natural, and more expressive. Now let's move to part 3. Part 3. Advanced level. 140 more complex daily life sentences. These sentences are longer, richer, and more sophisticated. They will help you sound more fluent and more mature in English. Take your time, listen carefully, and repeat after me. Morning reflections. I usually wake up a few minutes before my alarm actually goes off. I like those quiet moments before the day officially begins. They give me time to notice how I feel both physically and mentally. Rather than jumping out of bed immediately, I prefer to wake up slowly. I stretch for a few minutes to release the tension in my body. After that, I head to the bathroom and begin my morning routine. I wash my face with cold water because it helps me feel more alert. I brush my teeth carefully and try not to rush through the process. If I have enough time, I take a warm shower and enjoy the silence. Choosing what to wear depends on the weather and what I need to do that day. I usually try to dress in a way that is both practical and comfortable. Once I am ready, I go to the kitchen and prepare breakfast. I have learned that my day goes much better when I eat something decent in the morning. A balanced breakfast helps me concentrate and stay in a good mood. While I eat, I sometimes review my schedule for the day ahead. Doing that makes me feel more organized and less overwhelmed. Commuting and observation. My commute has become a kind of transition space between home and work. It gives me time to wake up fully and shift into a different mindset. Depending on the day, I either walk, take public transportation, or occasionally drive. If I take the train, I usually observe the people around me. Everyone seems to be living inside a different morning story. Some people look half asleep, while others already seem stressed. I often wonder what kind of day they are about to have. When I walk instead, I notice small details I might otherwise miss. The sound of traffic, the changing light, and even the air feel different every morning. These little observations make ordinary life feel more alive. Professional life. When I arrive at work, I like to begin by checking what needs immediate attention. If I start the day with clear priorities, everything feels more manageable. I usually review my messages, organize my tasks, and focus on the most important work first. That approach helps me avoid feeling scattered. Throughout the morning, I often move between focused work and communication. Some tasks require deep concentration, while others depend on collaboration. I have learned that both are important, but they require different kinds of energy. When I attend meetings, I try not only to listen, but also to think critically. If I agree with an idea, I say so clearly. If I disagree, I try to explain my reasons respectfully. Being able to express yourself well in these moments makes a huge difference. It is not only about grammar, it is also about clarity and confidence. Lunch and connection. By lunchtime, I usually need both food and a mental reset. A break in the middle of the day can completely change my energy. If I eat with coworkers, I enjoy the chance to talk about something other than work. Those conversations often reveal more about people than meetings ever do. Sometimes we talk about travel, family, hobbies, or future plans. Sometimes we simply laugh about something small and silly. Either way, these moments make the day feel more human. If I eat alone, I sometimes appreciate that too. A quiet lunch can be very peaceful when the morning has been intense. It gives me space to breathe, think, and recharge. Afternoon productivity. The afternoon is often the most demanding part of the day. That is usually when I need to stay disciplined and focused. If I start losing energy, I try to work in smaller sections rather than forcing myself. That way, I can keep moving without feeling completely drained. I have also learned the importance of double-checking important details. When I rush, I make mistakes I could easily have avoided. So before sending anything important, I take one last careful look. That small habit has saved me many times. Helping others at work can also be a meaningful part of the day. If a colleague is struggling with something I understand well, I try to assist. It feels good to be useful, and it strengthens the team at the same time. Returning home. By the time I leave work, I am usually ready to disconnect for a while. The journey home feels different from the journey to work. In the evening, there is less pressure and more release. I often reflect on how the day went while I travel back. Sometimes I feel satisfied, and sometimes I feel mentally tired. Either way, going home always feels like a reset. If I need groceries, I stop at a nearby store before heading back. I usually buy only what I need, although I often end up adding one unnecessary treat. Something small, like chocolate or a nice drink, can feel like a reward. Evening routine. Once I get home, I usually change into something more comfortable right away. That simple action helps me feel that the workday is truly over. Then I decide what kind of evening I need. Some evenings call for energy and activity. Others call for quiet, food, and rest. If I cook, I prefer meals that are simple but satisfying. I do not always want to spend an hour in the kitchen after a long day, so I usually choose something practical that still tastes good. While cooking, I sometimes listen to music, a podcast, or simply enjoy the quiet. Dinner is one of those moments when I try to slow down. Even if the meal is simple, I want it to feel like a real pause. After dinner, I clean up because I prefer not to wake up to a messy kitchen. A clean space in the evening gives me a calmer start the next morning. Relationships and reflection. At some point in the evening, I often reach out to someone I care about. Sometimes it is a quick message, and sometimes it becomes a longer conversation. Even a short, sincere conversation can completely change how a day feels. Checking in with people matters more than we sometimes realize. It reminds us that daily life is not only about tasks and deadlines, it is also about connection. On quieter evenings, I may spend some time alone reflecting on the day. I think about what went well, what felt difficult, and what I learned. These moments help me understand myself better. Night routine and rest. As the night gets later, I start preparing myself to rest properly. I try not to carry the full weight of the day into bedtime, so I slow the lights, lower the noise, and begin to settle down. My night routine is not complicated, but it helps me signal to my body that it is time to stop. I brush my teeth, wash my face, and put on comfortable clothes. Sometimes I read a few pages of a book before sleeping. Reading gives my mind something gentle to focus on. It is one of the best ways I know to transition into sleep. Before I close my eyes, I often think about one good thing from the day. It does not have to be something big. Sometimes it is only a nice conversation, a good meal, or a quiet moment. But noticing those things helps me end the day with gratitude. Eventually, the room becomes quiet, my breathing slows, and sleep comes naturally. And that is the end of part 3. That was excellent work. You have now completed all 400 daily English sentences from beginner to advanced. You should feel proud of yourself because this kind of practice really matters. When you repeat sentences again and again, your pronunciation gets stronger, your speaking becomes smoother, and your confidence starts to grow naturally. Now here is what I want you to do next. Do not stop here. Come back to this lesson again tomorrow or later this week. Repeat the sentences that felt useful to you. Try to use them in real life. Say them in the morning. Say them at work. Say them when you are cooking, shopping, or speaking with a friend. Remember, speaking English is like training a muscle. You need repetition, patience, and consistency. If you practice a little every day, your English will keep growing. Your fluency will become more automatic. Your pronunciation will become clearer, and your confidence will become stronger. If this lesson helped you, please like the video, subscribe to English Flow channel, and share it with a friend who is also learning English. And in the comments, tell me which part helped you most. Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3. Also write one new sentence you want to use this week. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Keep going, keep repeating, and keep believing in your progress. You are doing something wonderful for yourself. I will see you in the next lesson. Until then, speak English with confidence every single day. Goodbye.